welcome to Conversations with Sekani, a podcast for people in their 20s who are trying to figure out life and not get lost along the way. Today's guest is Mark De Carlo, an award-winning comedian, best-selling author, and in-demand corporate speaker who is on a mission to prove that the most important thing in life is being happy. Mark has transformed his life from a near-death epiphany to a transformative story of purpose, health, and success, including voice acting as the iconic cartoon dad, Hugh Neutron, and hosting a travel channel series where he witnessed workplace culture across 400 plus US cities. Mark, welcome to Conversations with Sekani. I'm excited to have this conversation, literally.
Sekani, I'm glad to be on your show. I've never been to Nigeria, but one of my best friends is from there, and she talks about it all the time. I really hope I get a chance to go there sometime.
I really hope you do. It's a pretty interesting place. Right. And yeah, I was going to tell you, I watched, should I say your animation or cartoons? There's a character you acted, right? I've seen the movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
I've seen
Okay,
it
yeah.
and I like
I
it
always
too.
I always call it cartoons just because it's funnier.
Okay. All right, cartoons, literally. Okay, yeah. So for people meeting you for the first time, who is Mark beyond comedy and corporate training?
Just somebody who enjoys life. I've been lucky enough to work in comedy my whole adult life. I've never had to get a job that I hate because I didn't want to spend my life that way. So I figured out a way to make money from doing things that I love. And what I do now is try and teach, number one, show people that that's a great way to pursue your life, is not
Mm,
waste your time doing things that make you miserable. And B, prioritize happiness and wellness in your life and all the other issues and chaos that come with everyday life are easier to deal with and fall into place if you're just always focused on discovering your purpose, which changes as you go through life, and trying to live a happy life. It sounds really simple, but I think people make it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. So that's what I talk about in my keynotes. That's what I talk about in my workshops, and it seems to be working.
all right, wow. So yeah, you've done stand-up, voice acting, televisions, and other things. So how did you end up, wearing so many hats, actually?
It's actually one hat with a lot of different headbands.
Oh,
Basically, what I'm an improvisational writer and comedian. So I was trained at the Second City, which is a comedy group out of Chicago here in Los Angeles, and all the things that I do, the comedy, the speaking, the cartoon acting, it's all just me being funny. That's really my only marketable skill. And I found out that humor not only is entertaining, as in the Jimmy Neutron franchise and Family Guy and other shows that I've been on, but it's also an excellent learning tool. If you're trying to learn something, you're trying to communicate with your team at work, or you're talking to your CEO or whatever, people retain the information much longer and absorb it much better if the message is delivered with comedy as opposed to just delivering the message. There's something that happens in your brain when you hear a joke or hear something funny that makes it stick and makes it easier to recall. I don't really know what that is. I suspect it has something to do with every basic joke boils down to I'm telling you something that doesn't line up, and then the punchline makes everything make sense. So it's the Socratic method, really, of teaching. You're asking questions, forcing the listener to think of what the answers could be, and then you supply what the actual answer is. And because they've been engaged in a thought process instead of just laying back and listening to you, the material sticks in the head better.
okay, wow. All right. So yeah, I want us to move on to the core conversation actually, which is purpose, happiness, and transformation. So let's start at the, ICU. What was going through your mind when you had that near-death experience?
Well, I was only 16 and I was on the,
Mm.
I got hit with a shot put at track practice, which is a 16-pound lead ball. And it hit me, some guy threw it the wrong direction, hit me in the back, broke my ribs, broke my spleen. I almost bled to death. So I was in the hospital for 3 months. Um, and the first thing my doctor said to me, 3 days, I was unconscious for 3 days. I woke up and the doctor said, "Oh, another 10 minutes, you would have been dead." So for to be 16 and hear that was a shock. And I realized that I could have died that day. I could die, we could all die any day. So I decided that I was going to make every day count and only do things that I enjoyed. Um, and starting at the age of 16, that's what I've done. I've prioritized number one, discovering who I am as a person and discovering my purpose. And I think my purpose here is to um, be be funny, which sounds silly and stupid and inconsequential, but really, um, it's not. It's important for people. You have to laugh. You have to enjoy your life. And if you make this, as far as we know, this is the only life we get.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be laying on my deathbed when I'm 90 going, "Oh man, I should have done that instead of this. I made so many mistakes because I was chasing money or power or whatever." I chase happiness. And even in my bad days, I'm, content at least. And I think it all stems from that near-death experience in the hospital where at a very young age, an age when typically people aren't contemplating their mortality, right? How many 16-year-old people are really conscious of, oh man, I'm going to die one day and time is short and all that. You're 16, you think you're going to live forever. So starting at that young age, it's kind of been the through line of my life, and everything that I do professionally and personally since then has been, I always ask myself the same question when I'm offered a choice. Uh, which would make me happier, doing this or doing that? And whatever I think at the time will make me happier in the long run, that's what I'll do. I'm not always right. I've made mistakes, but that decision tree has remained constant in my life. What will bring me more enjoyment and happiness? And then I do that. And if that doesn't work, you're faced with another choice and you make another decision.
Okay. Wow. All right. So yeah, talking about happiness as a practice, right? So
Right.
yeah, what's the connection between happiness and performance, literally, at work, life, and relationships, basically?
Well, that's a good question. What's the connection between happiness and performance? You could probably answer this in your own life. When you're in a good mood, you do better. Your brain is
Mm.
functioning better. When you're in a good mood, when you're in a positive state of mind, your brain is flooded with serotonin and dopamine and endorphins that literally make you feel good. And when you feel good, you're not stressed. When you're stressed, when you're being chased by a lion or something, you have tunnel vision and all you're trying to do is survive. Whereas when you are in a positive frame of mind and you're not being chased by a lion, you see more of the options available to you. You make better decisions. You're thinking more clearly. Your prefrontal cortex is engaged. So you're thinking more logically, more creatively. Your brain is 31% more powerful, basically, when you have these chemicals in your head. And you get those chemicals in your head by having a positive frame of
Mm.
mind, being in a good mood. So by being in a good mood, you are upping your performance. And that's not my opinion, that's science. And as you up your performance, you're going to get happier. So it's
Mm.
a self-perpetuating loop. The more you can focus on happiness and being positive, the better your performance will be. The better your performance is, the more positive feedback you're going to get. You're going to continue to feel good. And that cycles. And over long periods of time, that's how you become successful at whatever you've chosen to do. So it's important, especially for young people, to
Mm.
choose something to pursue that they enjoy, right? If you're only choosing something because it's making you a lot of money or giving you a lot of power, but you hate it, you're going to be miserable no matter how rich and powerful you are.
Mm. Wow. Because you said, okay, the one that stuck to me now is even if you make a whole lot of money, if you're not happy doing it, you still, not feel
Yeah.
fulfilled, right? Wow.
What's the point? I mean, you can be happy and rich, but if you're just rich and miserable, you're an idiot.
Mm.
Your priorities are out of whack because you don't, money is a tool.
Mm.
Happiness is a tangible thing that colors every moment of your life. So if you're in a job and you're making great money, but you hate doing it every single day, you're choosing to spend 8 to 10 hours a day being miserable to get
Miserable.
that money. And then what do you do with the money?
Mm.
You're miserable. You take a vacation, so you're happy for 2 weeks out of the year. Big deal.
Happy for 2 weeks. Yeah, understand that. Okay, right. So yeah, I want us to talk about, leadership, culture, and creativity, literally. So in your travel channel series, you observed workplace across America. So what pattern actually stood out for you?
That's a good question. When I was doing the Travel Channel show, I met 400 founders and
Mm.
entrepreneurs and people that run their own businesses and their own restaurants and their own food things and their own hotels. Not people working in corporate structures, but people out working for themselves, essentially. And what stood out to me generally from all those people is they were doing something that they loved. Running a restaurant, especially a small restaurant, especially a mom and pop restaurant, is not easy. You're there at 6 in the morning getting your food delivered from whoever your supplier is. You're prepping your food. You're making your food all day long. You're cleaning up the kitchen. You're supervising people. You go home at 2, you're back at 6. It's a hard business. But the people that excel at it and are successful at it are the people who love feeding people and
Okay.
love hugging and talking to people. They're people.
Mm.
And their job brings them joy. And that's why they do it. Um, People, like we were just speaking a minute ago, they're not chasing money. They're chasing someone walking up to them and going, "That is the best pasta I've ever had. That's the most
Mm.
delicious salad. We're coming back here for my dad's 80th birthday. It's going to be great." Those kind of people that what they're providing is not only food, but they're providing experiences for their customers. And when those experiences are genuine and happy, the customers come back and the owners are happy. And it's, again, it sounds simplistic and silly, but it's not. I mean, do you remember the best meal you ever had?
Mm. I think I do.
Okay. And look, you're smiling and you're laughing. Food, especially, it connects to your happy center. When it's good, when it's bad, it's awful. But every most every great experience has a food component to it, right? Oh my God, we were in Italy and we had the most amazing gelato. We were in India and we had this delicious gulab jamun. The food is a sensory thing, as
Mm.
is happiness, right? If you're feeling good, if you're feeling happy, there are a lot of ways to get to that. And one of the main ways is sitting down and having a great meal with friends. And those kind of experiences burn into your head. So that's what I learned traveling for the Travel Channel for those 120 shows, whatever they were. I met a lot of really great people who were choosing to focus their careers on things that brought them joy, as opposed to people who were choosing to spend their careers just making money.
Okay, wow. So
You
basically,
can do both.
yeah, actually, I mean, you're doing both, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
we can do both. Okay, so basically, what I have learned so far and what stood out for me is the fact that is when you said you need to do what you enjoy. Because, I mean, doing what you don't enjoy can actually cause burnout for you, and it might even end up making the person miserable. So, whatever job you want to do, whatever it takes you want to, do in life, just make sure you enjoy it and it makes you happy. That way, life is easier, right? Okay. So, yeah,
Right?
basically,
It's simple to understand. Sometimes it's hard to do every day. But
mm,
what alternative do you have? You might as well try it.
okay. All right. So yeah, my audience is basically young adults, right? So I need you to talk to the young adults, basically. What are like the three actionable habits young people can build today to support their mental and, emotional clarity, basically?
Another great question. So
Mm,
here's three actionable things young people can do as they're starting out their lives to aim their lives towards a positive
mm,
experience. Number
mm,
one, try everything. Try every possible job or occupation because that's the only way you're going to know whether you like it or not.
mm,
Everything. Be a
mm,
coder, be a tap dancer, be a welder, be a singer, be an accountant. Try everything. And you're either going to like it or you're not. When you find something that you hate, that's great. It's
mm,
off your list. When you find something that you like, you put it on the list. When you find the thing that you love, that goes to the top of the list. And then you figure out, how can I make a living doing this thing that I love? For a while, maybe I'll do this thing that I like to make some money and get going. But what I really want to do is this thing that I love. I want to be a kindergarten teacher. I want to be an electrical engineer. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a pilot. I want to be a skier, whatever it is. If you truly love it because you've tried everything else and nothing compares to doing this thing,
mm, yeah,
do that thing and you
mm,
will be successful because as we already said, when you're in a positive frame of mind, your brain's working 31% better. So
mm,
if you're doing something that you love, you will be successful at it because you will be good at it and you will be good at it because it makes you happy. So you just have to figure out a way to make money, enough money to survive and thrive doing the thing that you love.
okay.
The alternative is to try one or two things, end up as an accountant or a lawyer and make a lot of money and hate the fact that you're a lawyer every day and hate the fact that
Mm,
all you do is fight with other people and it's just not your thing. There are
mm,
plenty of people who are lawyers who love it, and that's great.
mm,
But the only way you're going to find out your purpose, the thing that you love, your purpose, is to try a bunch of other things. It's just like dating. You're not probably going to marry the first person you date. Probably. Maybe you will. But the smartest thing to do is date 50 people. And after you've dated 50 people or 20 people, one of them is going to be your favorite. Then
mm,
focus your energy on that person. You need data. And especially being a young person, you don't know yourself yet. You're still becoming who you're going to be. So really take the time, take out your earbuds and sit around and think every once in a while.
mm,
Ask yourself, what was I doing the last time I was truly happy? And ask yourself that every day and text it to yourself. And then look at it after a month. And if after a month you've texted yourself 25 times, I was happy when I was painting, go in that direction. Figure out a way to make a living as a painter or whatever it is, the thing that makes you happy. But until you take the time and put in the effort to really try and understand what makes me happy, when am I happy? When am I not happy? You need to
mm,
know that. And it's different for everybody. But once you know that, that is your North Star. That is the direction you should aim your life. And you're going to make mistakes. You're going to screw up. Something that makes you happy at 20 may not still make you happy when you're 30.
mm,
So it's a
mm,
constant process through life of reevaluating where you are, what makes you happy, and what you should be pursuing. So that's really the only rule. You don't need three rules. You need one rule. Find your purpose, pursue your purpose.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, all right. Yeah. So thank you very much for that. That was, insightful, deeply insightful, actually. And I am going to definitely do that, right? Because, yeah, I need to be happy. Happiness,
Right.
it's my pursuit, right? It's what I want.
Mm.
So, yeah. Okay. So, moving on. Lastly, basically, what would you define success? I know you've said it already, but I just need you to, say it out loud.
I'm going to say it out loud. Success is being happy. You know
Okay.
what? In 100 years, everyone watching this show, including you and me, will be dead. Everybody. So we have our most precious resource, which is time, right? When you spend a day with someone, that's a day you don't get back. When you spend money, you can always go make more money. But when you spend time, you don't get it back. It is our most precious thing. It's everybody's most precious thing. So to do things that you know will not make you happy, you are squandering your time. You are wasting your time. And to me, it doesn't make logical sense. Why would you choose to do that? I think people don't realize they have the power to choose the direction that their life moves in. Yes, things happen, chaos happens, things happen that you have to deal with that you weren't planning on. But no matter what happens to you, you can always choose to react to it in a positive, happy way. So the only thing that matters, in my opinion, is being happy. Because if you're happy, everything else is cool.
Okay. Well, right. Yeah. So thank you so much, Mark. This was real, actually, talking about healing, purpose, and happiness. It is real. Okay. So yeah, where can listeners get to know more about you and what you do, basically?
The best place is my website, markdicarlospeaker.com. You can also follow me on Instagram. I'm Mark DiCarlo TV on Instagram. And I do a lot of talks for schools. I do a lot of talks at universities. I do a lot of talks and workshops at corporations. So I just think this is an important message. And as a comedian, I feel qualified to talk about happy. And I've used this method in my personal and professional life, and it works. And I can teach other people how to approach life in the same way. Whether they choose to do it or not is up to them. But I can certainly provide a template and a roadmap where if you're in a life that is not satisfying, is not happy, there's ways to make it better, and they're not expensive, they're free, it just takes your desire and your commitment to determining your thing, your purpose. That's the most important thing. Figure that out.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for this. This has been amazing, actually. And yeah, I hope we could do this some other time because I have a whole lot of questions to ask, but then time and yeah. All right. So thanks for tuning into Conversations with Sekani. If this episode sparked something in you, make sure to share to someone who you think might need this. And also subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes. Thank you, Mark. Do have a beautiful and happy day, basically.
You too, Sekani. Have a great night, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. Thanks a
All
lot.
right. Oh, thank you.